Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Brad McMillan, Chief Investment Officer of Commonwealth Financial Network, to discuss if spring will bring us better economic news. Brad, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Good to see you, Jill.
And Brad, spring is here, and we start to come alive with more sunshine and warmer days ahead. But what about the economy? Is it historically a good time for the economy? And where do we stand right now?
It is historically a good time for the economy. Things are opening up, people are going out, people are spending. And given the year we're coming out of, the winter we're coming out of, this should be an especially good year. We're opening up not just from winter, but from the pandemic as well. And the signs right now are that the reopening is going well, and we're seeing hiring pick up, spending pick up. In other words, we're moving in the right direction.
And do you think things will continue to get better, or is there any expectation of some chop back and forth until we really understand how vaccination progress has worked?
We're certainly going to see the headlines go up and down. And right now, for example, there are signs that infection growth is picking up again. So it's not going to be a smooth road, and there very likely will be chop. But at the same time, vaccinations are proceeding apace, and there's actually more spare capacity out there every day. So we should see things keep continuing to improve, but there could be some setbacks.
Are there any other real risks ahead that we need to be aware of?
I think the real problems we're going to face are the problems of success. We've already seen, for example, interest rates start to move up, and that's a problem of success. The economy is normalizing. We're probably going to see something in the way of inflation, especially over the short term. And again, we're already hearing that, but it hasn't shown up yet. It will, but largely because, again, the economy is reopening. And when you compare that with a year ago, it's going to look a lot worse. So we will have problems, we'll have setbacks, but again, things are going to keep getting better.
I think that's really what the market is challenged with right now as we look at it in terms of a stock perspective, where the Fed isn't seeing the inflation in the data that they rely on, but it appears that the bond market is telling us something else. And then we have the Fed out there saying that they're going to keep rates as they are till 2024. And I feel like it's such a delicate balancing act, and it almost seems premature to say we're going to keep rates the way they are for another 2.5 years when we know demand's going to be accelerated at some point.
Well, we think it will, but remember, right, the demand we have right now is largely driven by the stimulus. And for that to continue, we need to get a lot more people back to work. Right now, we still have millions of people out of work. And even though that's moving in the right direction, we're not done yet. And that the Fed has two mandates, employment and inflation. And over the past 20, 30 years, they focused on inflation. Now they're focusing on employment, and I think very rightly so.
That's a great point. That was exactly what I was going to ask. Where is their focus? And employment, I guess, is the answer there. So, Brad, when we look at it more holistically, what are you recommending to investors at this point?
I think the big theme right now is the return to normal. You know, we've seen some aspects of this. We've seen growth start to underperform as value starts to outperform. Same thing. We're seeing a return to normal. We're seeing mean reversion in how different areas of the market are responding. We're seeing interest rates return to normal. That could be good for financials. We're seeing driving return to normal. That could be good for energy. We're seeing politics return to normal, which probably means government spending is going to continue, and that's going to help with infrastructure. So there's a lot of things to like about it, but the big story is getting back to normal.
All right, Brad, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.